Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Crix here. I just wanted to say before this video gets started, this is my first interview with top tier people with the Brawl Stars community. So I was a little bit nervous when I was asking these questions, and I was kind of like stuttering a little bit and stepping over my words, not really making a whole bunch of sense. So bear with the video, please. It's the first one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and y'all make sure you stay Krista. Yeah, hey, hey, yo, who drank all the orange juice? What's going on, guys? I'm very pleased to present to you today a couple guests that we have on the show. The first one, I'm sure everybody knows by now, is Bob Marley, the leader of Tribe and the president of the Brawl Stars community when it comes to Tribe. We also have Matteus, another member of Tribe who has been playing since day one. We have Sword, probably the strongest piper in the game when it came to portrait, and probably even still now. And these are three pro players that we're going to ask a couple questions to. So, without further ado, let's dig into the first one. So, I guess Sword. What are your feelings about the ranking system when you like hit that 500 mark and you're so happy about that? You're like, yes, I finally achieved. You're like, now what? I guess I just continue to push, and you're starting to push and push and push, and then after 2 weeks, you find that all those trophies that you accumulated, they're kind of deducted into half. Do you feel like that's a fair thing, or how do you think this should,
Um,
be nerfed or whatever?
I think it was a temporary method by Supercell,
Hmm.
so that people didn't push too far. After they changed from +1 at 400 to +4, and then they made it so you can push past 500. I think it was just a temporary method, so you didn't have people with 1,000 brawlers or 1,000 cups on every single brawler. I don't think it is a
Right.
very good method. I think they should do something more like Clash Royale.
Right.
But we're just gonna have to wait and see until global. I think that a method like a Clash Royale has where you're gonna reset. Let's say you get to 12.5k, you're gonna reset at 12k. You get to 13.1k, reset at 13k, something like that.
Hmm. 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 Okay. So would that be a solution to you, Mattias? Like, what do you think when you hear that? Is that something that you agree with, or?
Um, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it would be kind of hard to do because
Mhm.
uh, in Clash Royale, you don't really like gain trophies on certain cards,
Right.
whereas you do in Brawl Stars. So like resetting back like 500 trophies, how that would um, kind of like how that would interact with every brawler and which brawlers would lose trophies.
Right.
Um, the system right now, I don't think is bad. But I do think because uh, when they release new brawlers, it inflates the total amount of trophies. Um, it doesn't really work until they add something where, like, let's say there's 25 brawlers, and they make it so that your top 25 brawlers only count to your total trophies.
Mhm.
That way, when they continue releasing brawlers after that, um, the current highest record isn't easy to beat.
Okay. That's actually something I never really thought about. So you're thinking that if they base it on the fact that they're going to create more brawlers, it might be a more justified system, as in Sword or was kind of saying. It would just make a little bit more sense.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Bob, do you have anything to add to that?
Kind of just like piggybacking on what Matt said. Um, if slash when the game goes global, right now they're kind of just building the core game and the gameplay. But once they got that all situated and stuff, I feel like they're gonna start pumping out brawlers every so often. And
Right.
with the addition of brawlers, that means the total number of trophies you're gonna get is gonna go up. And I just feel like the current system, it's definitely not the best, but I think there's not really a better one that they can add right now. And I feel like the Clash Royale system would make it so your trophies would go too high.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like if they're planning on adding brawlers and if they're going to do it often, then this current system would be fine. But yeah, I'm in agreement with what Matt said.
Okay. So pretty much we're all just really excited about global and to see if it does adjust this ranking system. I like that. The question number two that I have for you guys is when this thing does go global, we'll start seeing a heavier amount of competition, and that is going to mean the Asian servers are going to come into play. People that we have never seen really play this game. Is that going to be something that we're like really like lurking at? We're like, wow, okay, they play it a different way that we do, or you think it's going to be like the same kind of thing? Like, okay, well, they kind of just play the same exact way, and there's really nothing different. Because from my experiences, when a game does have a global launch, there's like different play styles that are influenced in that. So what do you guys think, Matteus? What do you think, man?
I don't think it's gonna change that much. Already you can download the game anywhere on either iOS or Android. So I don't think how would I say this? That many new top players will come out from global. What else? Do I think there's going to be like a change in like play style? I don't think so, not that much, because the game is too simplistic right now. I don't think you can really like do any like interesting variations that haven't already been discovered yet.
Okay.
Or tested,
All right. Anybody want to top that or?
I actually disagree. I think right now you're kind of seeing the play styles are more who can outskill who, and by outskill I mean who can hit more shots faster,
Right.
and who can do more damage faster. And that's what really you see right now. It's really it. But if you're looking back to the OG days where there was actually a more variety of Asian players playing the game, players like Easton, Jack, Rock, they played with more of a finesse, more of a trying to, instead of overpower you and just out damage you from afar, trying to get close to you, they'd actually like prioritize juking shots over hitting shots. And you'd actually just see a different play style. Like you'd see them like really like not shooting even for a 10-second period of time, and just focusing on dodging, and you wasting all of your shots before they attack you. So
right.
I've definitely seen that, and especially more from people who are playing in Asia. I don't see it now, but I actually do think that the play styles are going to be different because the servers are different. You're going to see different top players who don't face North American top players from there, and they're really going to be impacting how they play on those servers. So it's really going to be a big difference, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Sword, what do you think about that?
I agree. I agree more with Daniel. Definitely. I think Asia is definitely going to become a dominant country, as it tends to be with many video games. You see the Asian population has just it's so dominant in any game that they play. I really just agree with Daniel 100% on this one. I think I have seen a change in play style. I don't think it's a good one necessarily. I liked how the game was before, but it is a change. I'm hoping that it'll change again and more revolve around the old days and juking and finesse and stuff like that. But I can only pray. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I mean, kind of bouncing off of that, then it seems like a lot of you guys probably had an issue when it did get out of portrait, and it kind of deleted that whole auto aiming thing. Like you said, there were a lot of players that you were playing with before you haven't even seen like at all. It's kind of like they fell off the face of the earth. I mean, how like that kind of brings up the next point, like the skill gap and the skill cap. Like, what do you guys think is the skill gap compared to the skill cap? Like, what needs to change? Is it the auto aiming thing that's just kind of like throwing people for a loop?
It's pretty much the only thing. That's auto aim has, I think, really it's defined before. Let's take for instance, if you were to have a team, let's say Easton, Rock, and Crying Man, versus a team of 10Ks. Easton, Rock, and Crying Man would utterly destroy the 10Ks with zero problem whatsoever. You take Landscape now, the same situation. Those 10K players no longer have to worry about hitting shots up close, which is a huge part of the game. Massive part of the game. Completely taken out. Doesn't make a single difference what you do in that situation. If you're the player that's getting shot at, you will get hit no matter what you do.
Right.
So the skill gap, or the skill cap, sorry, has definitely decreased. So I don't think people can't get as good at the game as they were in Portrait,
Okay.
which has consequentially decreased the skill gap between the player pool.
Just to piggyback onto that, I would agree. Although he brings up a point of 10Ks not really having an issue facing like that. Like, if you take out the look of trophies, like there are clear players in my eyes who are the best, and it's not really determined by ladder, but you see through leagues and through tournaments, the same players are winning every time.
Mm-hmm.
So the skill cap is there's a clear cap. Like, you can't, like, before you used to be able to juke like by literally running inside a person and like completely throwing him off guard which way you're gonna go, which way he's gonna aim, and you'd be able to juke by literally like running through his body, going like every which way. But now it's just, you can't really get close to someone. You know what I mean? Without automatically knowing for 100% certainty you're gonna get hit. So
Right.
I think the cap when it comes to actual skill isn't there, but I also think that IQ actually plays a large part, and people's game experience, how much they've played the game, is really important to the actual skill. But yeah, that's just my thing.
Okay. What about you,
That's my
Matt?
thoughts.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm sorry. Wait, what was the question?
The question is like, what do you think the difference is between pretty much like Portrait skill cap and skill gap compared to what it is now? Is auto aiming a huge thing to you? Like, do you think that is what triggered a lot of people to kind of, how you say, like, delete the game before the actual global launch? I mean, what are your views on this whole thing? Because do you
Was
still
auto aim
think?
added in the landscape update?
Um,
I don't know if it was, but
Yeah, it was.
it
It
Yeah.
was.
was okay. Yeah, I'm an
I
Android
don't think
player,
it
so
was
I don't know.
also- I think it was also like rotating the screen, and that pissed people off a lot.
They
But
don't like a
auto aim
longer
is
screen.
auto aim is definitely a huge factor. It takes away a lot of skill in this game. I mean, you look at a lot of brawlers, and a lot of brawlers are very auto aim heavy. And it's just like, yeah, like you can't dodge up close. Like you can move one direction, pivot backwards, and try to dodge, and you'll still get hit because they just clicked auto aim.
So okay, so you think that for a noob like myself, it gives me kind of false hope that I'm like maybe good at the game? Do you feel is that what it kind of does in a sense? Like if I was to go like as Shelly being a very heavy like auto aim, especially with her super. I mean, I know that that's how I was able to grind her to 500 just because her super is that strong, especially on a map like I don't know, what's that, Feast or Famine? You know, just hiding in the bushes and spamming that auto aim. So you think that that's like a big, just like kind of like false hope kind of type thing, that hey, this guy's really good at Shelly, in a sense.
Yeah, somewhat.
Gotcha. Well, going on to that, do you think that that's going to be a big issue when it comes to if this game is going to be an esport? That'd be question
Of
number
course.
4. Yeah, you think? Do you think that's going to turn off
Yeah.
a lot of the esports teams, like whether it be like C9 or Team Solo Man or even 100 Thieves, like, or Immortals even? Like, these are like people that are kind of moving slowly but surely into the mobile scene. And when they see that, do you think that's just going to be an instant turnoff and Supercell like kind of
Oh
reverse
yeah.
their decision?
take literally any competitive game that has had a good, like a big competitive scene. Take any of those games and look and see if there's an auto aim feature. Look, try to find one, please, and send me the game. Like I am very curious to see if there's another game that has a big esports scene that has a feature that literally aims for you. Like, no, it doesn't exist, dude. It's literally a feature built for casual players. It's like in Fortnite Mobile when they added auto aim. Like, Fortnite Mobile is not meant to be a competitive game, and they said that was their statement by adding that.
I'd actually disagree, and not for the fact that auto aim belongs in a competitive game, but for the fact that what I've heard is that right now they obviously when they came out with auto aim was because of player retention ratings. Like, people would get to like 3K and then just start getting slapped by people who have experience in the game. So they added it for player retention. But when speaking with some people who know more about the game and know more about the path and the way the game is going, they're saying things like they're gonna come up with a way for, like, in a friendly room to remove the auto aim feature. They're gonna come up with ways so when you hit the top of ladder, it actually takes more skill to grind and stuff like that. So I do agree with Sward that the auto aim does not belong in any type of competitive game, and it would definitely be a turnoff for esports. But I think when the time comes and when the game is ready to start being competitive, and if and when they release it global, then there are actually going to be ways to make the actual competitive games, which means like at the top of the leaderboards and during leagues and tourneys, they're going to find ways to make it much more competitive than it is now.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. That actually seems like it would work. It would be the solution. I mean, yeah, we're probably never going to see the portrait ever again. I mean, that's kind of set in stone. But I mean, at least getting away, that whole auto aim feature for the OG players, at least, or for that competitive atmosphere that we all long for, would be the kind of essential, really, for the esports team to have that interest. And probably the final question I got for you guys is, who is the most skillful brawler in your opinion? Like, is it Dynamite? Is it Barley? Or like, who is it to you guys? Because I know a lot of people have different things to say. But in your opinion, when it comes to all the game modes, what champion, or what brawler, I should say, really sets apart for the skill level of, just if you saw this dude like pushing 1,000 cups, you're like, wow, this dude's actually good, like what brawler would that be? Anybody can answer that.
I would. There's a few brawlers that come to mind, but honestly, I'd say Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
Dynamite. Okay, so they recently nerfed Dynamite. It used to be, in my opinion, the most skilled brawler. Then it became one of the most unskilled brawlers, where you can click auto aim and the super would automatically hit.
Right.
But they've now changed that feature, so that's not possible. So I believe that now it's Dynamite. It's just a mix of, it's high. You can do high amounts of damage, but you have to be very precise, and the actual game knowledge and prediction skills needed for that brawler is very high.
Right.
You need to know your opponent, know which way you think he's going to juke. It's not about clicking auto aim to hit the shot. If you're clicking auto aim with Dynamite, you're not going to hit a single shot ever. It's about being able to predict where the opponent is going and being able to actually hit your shots. So I think that's why Mike is the most skillful to push.
Gotcha. Do you guys have a agreement on that, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Mike, Mortis. Let's see. Who else would I really say is skilled to play? And we're talking like really, really hard to push. We're talking like the most difficult that you see a majority of players, they leave in the comments. They're like, how do I push this? I have no idea. I'm stuck at 200 cups. Like those
right,
people, right?
Right. We love them. We love them. I'm one of them.
Yeah, absolutely adore them. So I think definitely Mike, after his nerf, made him really, really difficult to push for people that weren't already experienced. And then Mortis has always been a struggle, mainly because if you don't know how to play him in Brawl Ball, you have to try to push him in other modes in an auto-aim heavy meta, where if you push him in Showdown, you're just going to get pooped on by Shellys and Bulls and Primos. If you push him in Smash and Grab, you're not going to have much success. Heist, no. And, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't really know of any other brawlers that are really that difficult to push.
Dude, Shelly, bro. Shelly, man.
Oh.
So hard.
Man, bro. Oof.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's our time right there, guys. But thank you guys so much. If you guys have any inputs on any of the topics or any of the things we talked about, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to respond and let you guys know. I really am grateful that these top tier pro players took time out of their day to stop by. And when I say these guys are pro players, I mean they hit 12,000 plus. Bob Marley, he's hit the 16,000 plus, and I think he was the first one to do that. So I mean, like, these guys, Trash, trash or garbage can, Bob Marley the garbage can. Hashtag Bob Marley. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you wish. And again, a special thanks to all the top tier players, including Matteus. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great one.